Hi, are we recording?
Yeah, of
Hi.
course.
Welcome to Ectoplasmic Fantastic.
I'm Andrew.
I'm Molly. Welcome to 2020. This is our first recording of the decade.
We haven't recorded for about 4 weeks, but
Been Christmas.
also you might get this at the current rate by summer. So happy summer, happy spring,
It's all
possibly happy autumn, happy Easter. Destroy the racist stuff that I said before we started the podcast.
If we still have podcasts during World War III.
Yeah, we're worried that World War III is going to start.
Classic, just little, like...
This is when I'll be happy for homophobia, that they don't let gays in the military.
Yeah,
I'm not happy with don't ask, don't tell. I'm just going to be like, don't conspiracy.
Just be like, do ask and I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do ask and I'll tell you. I'm not fucking getting drafted. Get away from my door.
Yeah.
With your camo.
Yeah, I don't fucking want any of your fucking guns and stabbing and... Yeah.
Murder and bad colours and
Yeah.
having to live in fucking Iran.
Yeah, I don't want any of that bullshit.
Good films in Iran. They make some.
Yeah.
They make some beautiful Iranian cinemas. Very beautiful.
Iranian
actually.
men are hot.
Iranian men are hot.
Now, where is Armenia?
Armenia
Is Armenia near Iran? 'Cause
No,
they,
it's well.
well, they look the
it's
same.
next to Turkey.
Is Turkey near Iran?
It's nearer Iran than
Is Iran
we
in
are.
Africa?
Andrew,
Is Iran in Europe?
are you serious?
Yeah, well, the Middle East is Africa, isn't it?
No, it's
No.
not.
What continent is it in?
It's Eurasia.
That's not a no.
Yes, yes, it is.
Right.
Asia.
Iran is in the,
Minor Asia.
Iran's in the Middle East.
Can I
I've
run
got-
through? Can I run
I'm
through
gonna get
the
you a fucking
continents?
world map.
I'm going to run through the continents.
Right.
Australia,
That's not a continent, it's a country.
Europe,
Continent.
America,
Which one?
North,
Yeah, and then,
South America,
Brilliant.
Antarctica.
yeah.
Yeah.
What's South Antarctica? The South Pole.
That's
Antarctica is the
Okay.
South Pole.
Asia.
Continent.
So that's 5. Russia.
No,
Country.
Russia's in Asia.
What's Russia? Russia is Asia.
Russia is like half Europe, half Asia.
Okay. So
It's confusing.
The line
We
is
don't
very
talk.
arbitrary, but
We don't talk about
modern day
Russia.
Russians would not consider themselves European.
continent. So I'm up to 6.
Africa.
The 7th continent.
Africa.
No, but then I've not.
Africa,
what's
Europe.
Australasia? Africa.
It's Oceania.
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 So there's 8 continents.
No. So there's Europe, Asia, Africa, Oceania, or whatever, which way you say it.
Oceanias.
North Africa, South Africa, Antarctica.
No, I don't. Sorry, honestly, I don't believe that.
Well, you don't have. It's not something you believe. It just is.
Okay.
So that's Iran.
It's in Asia.
It's part of Asia.
Hang on a second. No,
This
you
is the
pointed
Middle
to
East.
Africa.
No. I was
So
pointing
it's
to
connected
Africa
to Africa.
to show you where Africa. So this is Africa. This is the Middle East,
Right.
which includes like
Africa's from
Saudi-
Egypt onward.
yep,
So Egypt is Africa,
Egypt's in Africa.
but Iran is next to Egypt.
It's not.
Iran
well,
is.
It's as next to Egypt as Poland is next to the UK.
What's between Egypt and Iran?
I can tell you exactly what's between Egypt and Iran: Jordan, Syria, and Iraq.
Nice names. I hear they're shitty places.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to go
Yeah,
there.
no, it's conflict zone.
Okay.
Through.
So I've learned and immediately forgotten some stuff.
Well, the thing is, that's called Minor Asia,
Ugh.
which is the place that gave us like the first cities, the first deities. For instance, ISIS, not the terrorist group, the goddess.
Fuck you, Minor Asia.
The
is
Egyptian.
from there.
Yep.
Okay. So it's the birth
Mathematics originated in the Middle East,
Um,
or like the first
Not
recordings
exclusively,
of
because-
So we
mathematics.
evolved in Africa, and then Minor Asia gave us the goods.
Very, very, very reductively. Yeah.
Okay.
In fact, no, we did evolve in Africa.
You're probably going to get a really angry group text that someone else is hoovering up the Christmas tree.
And then the
Anyway.
bit in between Iran and China is a bit odd. That's all the stands.
yeah.
And that's
Standing.
That's Eurasia, which is part of Asia.
Yeah.
Right, not part of Europe, isn't it?
No.
So why is it called... No, this is not a geography podcast.
Afghanistan. I actually fucking love
definitely
geography,
not
I
is.
you know.
hate it because I don't understand it.
I hated geography at school because it was just all about like land mass and different bits in the soil. But I love other countries. I love maps. I love world
confuse
maps.
selectively permeable membranes with coastal erosion because you've got igneous rock, sedimentary rock,
Wow.
and something other rock.
All I remember was my geography teacher's breath and the fact he used to switch the light in the classroom on and off, and told us that every time he did it, he caused a flood in India and killed children.
I like him. Mine was Mr. Terrington, and he was balding, and somehow he managed to get his trousers so far up they were probably past his belly button.
Amazing.
He looked like a sex offender, but you also know he was wildly asexual.
Geography teachers.
Are pervs.
Weird,
There's
aren't
something
they?
gross
You've
and
never met a
insipid about
normal
them.
one.
No. It's like I've only ever met one hot maths teacher. There's no hot maths teachers.
The maths teacher at my school is hot, but she's a woman, so it's different.
She's not really either of our target demographics. PE teachers are always hot.
Questionable.
My maths teacher, who I had a massive crush on when I was 13, and I was a little bit of a sexually precocious Christian, was also the cricket
Probably because
teacher.
you were a Christian.
And he was like this 6'4" Mancunian, blonde-haired,
Mancunian.
blue-eyed, broad-shouldered
Yeah,
beast.
yeah.
And at the time, I was just like, I don't know what this feeling is, but I know I want to indulge it.
It's not
Interesting.
sauce in my panties.
Oh my god!
God.
I didn't know at the time, but I would, if he had been like Andrew coming to my office, 13-year-old Andrew would have been like a yes, please.
I didn't have a single hot teacher.
Oh, that's probably...
I mean, that's good, but no, I didn't have any.
What about you, Nicolas? Would
Not
you
until uni.
Oh.
There's one.
Not
guy
even in
who was
uni?
Cute adjacent. And that was it.
There's not a lot of hot people in Belgium.
No, it's true.
Really?
I went around Belgium for 3 days and didn't see anyone I wanted to fuck.
No trade in Belgium.
There is no
trade.
There are hot guys out there, but the hot guys from Belgium come over here. Like every time there's a guy on Grindr who's from Belgium, including my boyfriend, he's hot.
Because we know better. It's like you just feel like a shark in a fish tank.
Yeah.
Kind of out of place. But yeah, no, the trade is... It's not even rough. It's prehistoric.
Non-existent.
It's not even trade, it's I don't want that.
How was the gay scene in Brussels?
Basic.
Like all three of them.
Oh.
It's like 3 buildings on a quiet street.
It's a very small street.
Right.
It's smaller than the street I live on.
It's not even as big as Compton Street.
That's a bit depressing.
Yeah.
It is quite depressing.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
Anyway.
Welcome to Ectoplasmic
Yes,
Fantastic.
sorry, this is not Geography podcast, World War III podcast, or Rating Trade by Nationality podcast.
No, this is a podcast
Although
about... Yeah.
That is a conversation that's quite fun to have.
Yeah, I mean, I like to think our podcast is 2/3 us talking about the occult and 1/3 us just living our best lives and forgetting we're actually recording.
There's a hell of a lot of that.
What's our theme for today?
So our theme for today was hometown hauntings.
Whoop whoop. Spook spook.
Am I detecting
quack.
some sarcasm?
No, I just was like, if I go whoop whoop, you'd be like, Andrew never makes that noise.
Yeah, true.
Everything's delivered in a appealingly sardonic tone. Can you just pass me the Christmas pudding?
Yes.
I just want to put a bit in my mouth.
Yeah.
I just want that middle bit. I'm just gonna grab that and just cram it in my cake hole.
So although this is hometown haunt, it's because we both come from like very small towns, or
Yeah.
you know,
We've
expanded it, but hometown haunting sounds better in terms of branding.
Yeah.
So we're expanding because of the branding.
Come on, Donald Trump.
That's it.
I said Donald.
Donald. I was going for more of like the beginnings of a freestyle rap, but I'll take
Rap
Donald
something.
Trump. No, I'm not in the headspace. Maybe next week.
Is there a Belgian rap scene?
Yeah. So my sister's boyfriend is really into like French and Belgian rap.
God, I bet
So
it's
she has to ditch him right away.
Why?
Oh.
Because it's really not good.
Yeah, he listens to a bit of French French rap. I had an Uber driver explain to me the intricacies of French rap not long ago.
It's really not great. It's not a box that you want to open in the kitchen.
Okay. I repeatedly tried to close the conversation.
Did you try to play any?
Yeah, he played it. He was like, do you mind if I listen? He was Algerian. He was like, do you mind if I listen to music?
Why
And I was like, no, go ahead.
Belgian rap then?
Because Algeria is a former French colony.
Yeah.
And a lot of Algerians moved to Paris, which is where the Parisian rap scene originated as Algerian immigrants. And I learned that.
Not exclusively.
Not exclusively, but a lot of it.
Big contributor.
And
I
Algeria
genuinely...
is Africa.
Yes.
Yes. Woohoo!
Yes.
And I genuinely found that quite interesting from like a social point of view. But I didn't like the music.
No.
I don't like English rap music.
Oh, it's Mozart next to what we have to put out in the world. Yeah. Anyway.
This is not a rap music
Hometown
podcast.
haunting. So Nicholas's hometown is Brussels.
It is.
Mine is various small shitty towns across the east and west of Scotland. And yours is?
Mine is... I'm going to go with most of East Anglia because I think our largest village has about 1,000 people, but I grew up in one of 100 people called Rinksted on the North Norfolk coast.
So my proper hometown where I lived when I was a kid, the hometown haunting would technically be Sawneybean because that was like a stone's throw away. But I'm going to go with my current hometown, aka where my mum and dad live, which is Fife.
And I'm going for one which is actually from my village, one just up the coast, and one that covers the entire county. Because we actually have a famous one which you will have heard of.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to go first, or shall I get the ball rolling?
How many have you got?
I've got like 5 mini ones.
I've got 2 mini ones and 1 big one.
What are you saying? What do you think?
Should we stone, scissors, paper for who goes first?
Shall we what?
Should we stone, scissors, paper for who goes first?
Yes.
Best of 3?
Yes.
1, 2, 3.
So, scissor against scissor.
2, 3.
Rock against scissor, Molly wins.
1, 2, 3.
Paper
1,
against paper.
2, 3.
Scissor
Molly
against
wins.
Paper, Molly wins.
Okay, does that mean I go first or don't? I'll go first.
Yeah, go first.
I love it that Molly decides to then make it complicated. I'm stunned. I get to decide. What do I decide? I can't decide. What does it mean?
So I'm going to talk about St Andrews.
Mm-hmm.
Have you been to St Andrews?
No.
Nicholas, have you ever visited St Andrews?
No.
Have you ever been to Scotland?
Should, it's beautiful. St Andrews is a very, very historic town. It's been like a settlement since the medieval times. Home of golf. It's where there's a lot of golf. Every cunt who grew up near St Andrews ends up getting a golf adjacent job. Like I've had one. My brother had one for a while. It's just what you do.
What did you do on the golf?
I worked at the Women's Open serving food
What
to
did
golfers.
serve?
Horrible food.
Like pie?
No, it was all like, I can't even remember. It was quite grim though. Yeah, it was quite
Well,
grim.
there's the like crispy canapes with fish eggs and not
A lot
caviar.
of that. A lot
What
of
about
that.
that little French bird that you have to have a veil over your face when you eat?
A quail.
No, it's not even a quail. It's like, I can't remember what it is, but you're not allowed to eat it publicly, but you eat the whole
Why?
bird.
Because it stinks.
No, because it's like so small and sweet.
What's
like,
the point?
I don't, because it's just, you know, like how fugu is. Oh my god, I have to like eat this thing that might kill me.
Yeah.
This thing is like it's an affront to heaven, so you have to wear a special veil so that no one sees you eat it. Sorry, that is.
Do you know what? I'd rather just have a fried egg on toast.
I'd rather just go to Egg Slut.
Yeah. So St Andrews is known for its ecclesiastical ruins. So at the top of the town, there's a big ancient cathedral that's very ruined, and it's really cool. I go there quite a lot and like walk around and look pensive. And there's another ruin that's like crumbling into the cliffside.
Cute.
Which is really nice. St Andrews is often overrun with like loud, rich American students who like sit their seats way out on the pavement and shout about tartan and things like that.
Oh, because they have like a fucking 4th generation.
I'm Scottish. I'm Scotch. My mum works in St Andrews Uni Library where she has a lot of enemies. And it's a nice town. I do quite like it.
She organised meetings and enemies of Molly's mum.
Yeah, she does. She told me that she ran into one of the car park in Lidl and gave her a hug and said Happy New Year, and then bitched on the phone to me and was like, I don't know why I did it. I actively hate her and she hates me.
I love your mum's life.
She has so many enemies. So apparently there is a ghost in the cathedral. So when you think of St Andrews, you tend to think of like Americans with too much money who send their children away to St Andrews to reconnect with their Scotch heritage. Or you think of like wanky golfers. Oh. But actually there is a strong and proud tradition of paranormal, ooky spooky, Hallowooky goings on.
Cute.
And it's so old, how can there not be?
Yeah.
It is pretty gothic looking. So this guy in 1911, whose name was W.T. Linkskill, wrote a book called St Andrew's Ghost Stories, which I very much respect him for. I don't know why it took till 1911 to write one, because, like I said, there's been a sort of churchy settlement there for a long time, along with the university.
It was just oral tradition, and then...
Yeah, to be fair.
It's the best kind of tradition. Oh.
So there is a ghost on the golf course. The golf course is fucking massive.
It must be the most bored ghost ever.
Well,
do you think
apparently he just hangs about in the bunkers and is like helps golfers.
Do you think he's a homeless person?
I think it's almost definitely a private schoolboy who went feral and was just like, I can still be a golfing legend like my father.
You, sir.
Yeah, it's not a fucking ghost. It's a rogue private schoolboy who was shit at golf and is trying to win his father's affections.
Somehow I see him as a Tiny Tim from the BBC.
I've got one leg shorter than the other.
And he wears a tailcoat because he's mental. So that's a bit terrible. There's Nun's Walk. The ghost is understood to be a manifestation of 19th century golfer Tom Morris, who at the age of 17 won a load of golf championships. And he came home from doing golf to find out his wife and baby had died. So 4 months later he had a heart attack. He was 24 years old, which is obviously a very tragic story, but they say it's his ghost. I'm still going with the ex-private schoolboy. So this is a really good one. On the University Library building, where my mum does sometimes work, there is this face etched into the tower.
Oh no.
That's pretty creepy.
I don't like him.
And that's been there since the 16th century. So this is the famous St Andrew's ghost story. And it's a man whose name is Patrick Hamilton. He was a 16th century student and teacher at St Andrews. And he was a Protestant reformer charged with heresy and tortured to death in February 1528.
Fair play. Kill those Protestants.
He was burned at the stake right outside the building that's now that building. So those bricks have been there since the 1500s, which is pretty cool. And it said that he struggled from noon till 6 p.m. to die. It took him 6 hours to die. At one point, gunpowder was placed in his armpits to try and kill him a bit quicker because the fire kept going out because of the spirit of the Lord.
Gunpowder in your armpits.
Which just
put it up his butthole.
Just fucked up his face and his hands. And his first words before he died were, Lord Jesus, receive my spirit.
This was actually his last words.
Yeah.
Look, he just ripped off Stephen, because when Stephen was getting stoned to death by the Pharisee apostle, he was like, Lord, unto thine hands I entrust my spirit. He can't even get his fucking last words original.
To be fair, I think it's probably quite standard if you're martyred to, really cement your place as a martyr by being like, Jesus!
Help, Jesus!
So he's regarded as Scotland's first martyr of the Reformation. A scorched likeness of his face was burned into the stone that he was facing while he was being burned alive. So visitors are told you have to look at it when you visit St Andrews. There's all superstitions because he was a student at this ancient university. There's loads of superstitions surrounding his face, and it is creepy. His initials mark the spot where he was executed on the pavement, so it still says PH. And if you're at university, you must not step on his initials, or you will fail your exams. If you do, you have to partake in the May dip. This is all just posh japes, but it's a bit ghosty, so I'm going to say it anyway.
So you put your dick in a pig. I'm sorry.
No, nothing to do with dicks. You have to run into the sea at 5 a.m. to wash away the bad omens. Another way you can potentially wash away the bad omens if you stand on the pH and look up at the burned face in the wall is you have to run nude backwards 3 times between classes around the back of St. Salvator's. And some people say that if you go there at night, you can hear crackling and the smell of burning flesh.
What if it's just an all-night kebab fan?
There's not one in St. Andrews.
Okay.
If there was, I'd know about it because my brother would go there and talk about it a lot. There's the Veiled Nun of St. Leonard's. This one's really good. So St. Leonard's is a big private school in St. Andrews where my dad used to teach. And he still uses the parking there because it's free. Curse of the Nun, the Naughty Nun. No, not the Naughty Nun. What's that film called?
Satanic
The Bad Nun.
Nun.
Satanic
Bad
Nun
Nun.
/ the Bad Nun. Curse of the Nun. The Nun. So the Veiled Nun of St. Leonard's, there's this little walk down towards the church. So St. Leonard's is a private school, Tory school, built on the grounds of an ancient church. And you walk down there and there's a horribly disfigured nun. What?
You know how on the front of DVD cases there's like a little tagline?
What's this one?
So the first one says, built to one hell of a finale, 5 stars. Second one, this spooky sister to The Conjuring has some scares.
Some scares. Has some scares.
I'm so sorry. Please continue. That
No,
just really,
it's fine.
That really tickled me.
So you're walking down there. This is probably quite a lot of scares because it's quite a nasty little story actually.
Oh, good.
So there's a horribly disfigured nun. Basically, this girl, this is such a mood, she was so heartbroken after her lover's death that she decided to mutilate herself so no man would ever be attracted to her ever again.
Standard.
She cut off her ears, split her nostrils, branded her cheeks, and cut off her eyelids and lips.
Oh, fuck's sake.
Because her boyfriend died. Bit of an overreaction.
I mean, like, I like my boyfriend, but I don't think I'd do
You're
all
allowed
that.
to be sad. But
I'm allowed to be sad. My feelings are my feelings, but I don't think I'd cut my ears off.
Pardon me. So she joined a nunnery, as you do. Like, she
What?
could have just joined a nunnery without cutting her face off.
Eyeless Agnes.
Eyeless Agnes, with no lips, no eyes, split off
Eyelids.
fucking nostrils. She cut her eyelids off.
Which means she would never sleep then.
Yeah, basically.
When will her eyes
Well,
fall out?
I don't
Would
know.
that dry out like 2 raisins?
Ugh, like a circumcised dick.
So this raisiny circumcised dick of a lady joins the nunnery, and she actually ended up dying because
Infection?
could have been any fucking number of things. This hasn't got a time period. I'm guessing like 1500s again because that was just generally quite fucked.
Jesus Christ.
Today she walks up and down Nun's Walk and she lifts her veil at passers-by who are
I hate
unlucky
her.
enough to cross her path. So if you go
Don't-
past her, she just flashes you her face.
Don't punish me because your boyfriend died, you eyeless bitch.
There's a nice monk in St. Rule's Tower, which is the big tower in the churchyard, which you have to pay to go up, so I've never gone up it.
Oh my god, you are Scottish.
But apparently, yeah, exactly, it's only fucking tourists. No Scots paying to go up a tower. There's a nice monk who stops people from falling. If you're walking up the stairs and you're a bit old, you're a bit dyspraxic, her name's Molly, he stops you from like tumbling down the ancient stairs. In the 1950s, one visitor was offered assistance by a kindly monk who was blocking his path. When he refused, the man reported he felt nothing as he squeezed past the monk on the tight stairs.
Hot.
Yep. There's another one in the tower. There's a white lady. What is the white lady, green lady, green lady? Green lady?
Green,
Green lady, white lady.
Grey ladies
lady
are
thing.
women who died in sadness.
Yeah.
Green ladies, I can't remember. I think white ladies. I'll Google this one. White lady. White.
Or maybe we'll find out with that one.
We might not. White lady is a type of female ghost dressed in all white, reportedly seen in rural areas, associated with some local legend of tragedy.
Local tragedy, that's it. They die in tragedy.
What's a grey lady then? Carry on, sorry, I'm going to review.
So she's the most common ghost. She's seen a lot, the white lady, and she's in the same cathedral, the old cathedral. Over the past 200 years, she's been seen quite a few times. She's dressed in all white, and she hangs around the ancient cathedral and waves a handkerchief from a window at St. Rule's Tower, which is known as the Chamber of Corpses to the Victorians.
Harry Potter.
And she fucking hates people coming in there because that's her tower. She lives there. She doesn't like all the Americans going up and taking pictures and talking about Scotland. She doesn't like it. And so in 1868, stonemasons were undertaking work in the tower, and they discovered a hidden chamber within the tower where they found a load of coffins that were all covered except for one. And this had the remains of a very well preserved remains of a woman in a white dress and white leather gloves. So we think it's her, but exactly why she fucking hates people going up her tower, I'm not too sure. St. Andrews is haunted enough for there to be ghost tours, which I've never been on before. But that would be cool. There's not a massive amount of information available about St. Andrew's ghost, although there's quite a few. The most popular one is your boy Patrick Hamilton, who's etched his face right where he died, and it is quite haunting. Like in real life, it's quite spooky. And you mustn't step on his initials, or you have to
I'm
do
not up for
some
running naked anyway.
mad shit, like run nude and...
I can't run forwards.
Isn't it? I can't even run forwards. I'm not doing it naked around the back of a fucking cathedral for no reason.
No, because you'll just end up on YouTube as that prat that ran backwards.
That's what would happen now. Yeah, there's the kind monk and the white lady in St. Rule's, and this is St. Rule's Cathedral, so it is...
Ooky spooky.
It's ooky spooky, and it is really old, and that's the tower. So she hangs out.
You have to
the
pay
window.
to go up there. It's like 2 stories tall.
I know, it's pathetic. So it is a really beautiful place.
Yeah.
I've spent a happy afternoon wandering around there.
How much is it to go up?
I think it's like a £5.
No,
For double that price, you can visit Westminster Abbey, I think.
I don't even want to go there.
I just
Yeah,
don't
but I'm
want
saying, in comparison, you see a bit
I just
more.
don't like guided tours in that sense. Like,
I
it's
don't
not
like
like
being
you can...
told what to think.
No, I agree. I don't want to go up there, pay a £5, stand there for like 5 minutes while American children moan that they just
Eat
want to go
goobers and just
and eat fudge instead. And,
Yeah,
But I respect the kind monk.
yeah, he seems okay.
Maybe you should hook him up with the ugly nun.
Oh yeah, the ugly nun and the kind monk.
So they could learn from each other. Like, he would
Yeah.
not be a doormat anymore.
Yeah,
and-
'cause he is a bit of a
and
doormat.
She would probably learn to be more helpful towards people.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and she'll learn to love herself.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because that's the most
Because
important thing,
let's
isn't
face
it?
it,
That we
they're
love
in the same
ourselves.
profession, and I don't think the market is really saturated. So
No. Should we do some paranormal Scottish matchmaking?
yeah.
100%.
And the nun and like,
You've just given us 3 really
I
good
fuck-
choices
I
already for fuck,
fucking
marry,
hate
kill.
people. I fucking hate them. My boy died, and ever since then I've not been able to fucking get it out my head. I've got no eyes. And the monk is like, "Oh, hey, come on, and let me get you up the stairs.
Come on, you eyeless
come on,
bitch."
hey, come on, now, I'll get you up the stairs." You know, I think it could be quite cute. So
Yeah.
she's like this.
She's like Aubrey all day.
Ugh.
Yes, yes,
But
yes.
it's great, they could lose their virginity to each other.
Oh. But she used to have a boyfriend, right?
She had a boyfriend, but he died
They wouldn't have been fucking.
over 500 years ago. No, they would have been fucking because she didn't become a nun till after he died. She became a nun after he died.
Yeah,
she
but
was
you can
just a
be-
woman.
Maybe she was like, I'm a virgin.
No, they were
and-
fucking.
Oh.
I don't know
Okay.
how I know that. I just do.
Okay,
Just a
you
fact.
are...
Because
so-
why else would she join a nunnery?
Because she couldn't stand the thought of marrying someone else, so she married Jesus?
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to be a virgin to be a nun. I just think a lot of people before then, unless they were just doing frottage,
Maybe I should be a nun.
no, they'd never let you in.
No.
I mean, no, Molly. You'd knock over the sacred incense, you'd eat the communion wafers.
True.
You'd get so bored.
I'd be really
You would
bored.
have to wave all your tarot cards goodbye.
Oh yeah, true.
Or the witch's
No, I
turn.
won't be a nun. So that is Haunted St Andrews.
Let me do my first one.
Should we have a quick break and then come back for
Yes.
Norfolk? Norfolking.
So upsetting.
It was the worst. I had a terrapin called Dudley who I loved. He was the light of my life. And I came down one morning, like just before Christmas. I think it was like the 23rd, or maybe it was even Christmas Eve. And my mum said, "Don't go in the kitchen, Molly." And I was like, "Why not?" The fucking dog had gone in my room and like opened up the turtle tank and eaten him. And he was like dying on the kitchen floor, and I was so upset. I ran out the garden and sat in a bush and swore to never celebrate Christmas ever again.
That's quite sad.
I like the fact that two alcoholics are the ones that love this story.
Dudley.
We don't have the proper emotional connection to things. Oh, I'm so glad you're not a terrapin, Nicolas. Although you're basically a terrapin.
A terrapin?
Yeah.
What's that?
Stag turtle.
Turtles are not friendly animals, though.
I know.
No, terrapins are adorable.
I don't know. I've only well, the kind of same idea, but
But they're so
Tortoises?
little. Look,
Terrapins.
they're lovely. Look, they're fucking lovely.
So
That's what
cute.
Dudley was before he got eaten by Benny. I will never celebrate Christmas again.
Do you think that was the transformative moment in your life?
Definitely. No, one of my earliest childhood memories. Actually, I won't talk about it. It's fine. Should
One
we-
of mine was getting bitten in the face by a border collie.
That's Benny was a border collie.
Border collies are twats.
They're fucks. He was the best dog, but he was mental.
Genuinely, the first border collie we had was called Nicky. And he bit me in the face, so we had him put down.
That's really
No.
sad.
It was fine. I didn't like him. I actually, do you want to know something really dark?
You didn't like him.
Do you want to know something really dark? I provoked him. He bit me in the face.
You put steak on your face.
But no,
like,
it was genuinely just a little bit of a nip. But like, just
And you
enough
went,
to
"Come
draw
on,
a little
come
bit
on."
of blood. And I was like... "Ah!" I totally fake cried. And we had him...
Oh no!
Hey, we got rid of the dog.
No! Poor dog.
But when
I
you-
murdered
But when
a
you're a
dog.
little kid, it probably felt that bad.
In
you
all
know?
fairness, I watched a man try and drown himself when I was 10 and I didn't tell my dad until my dad noticed.
What the fuck?
It's so true. It was the anniversary. Princess
I
Diana.
remember, you know, the
Wait.
first time that you shared in a podcast about you like secretly worshipping the devil.
I love that so much.
To be able to fly.
I just.
Those things are very like. I think that would have given you a pass.
I genuinely watched this guy walking out to sea fully clothed on the day that Princess Diana killed himself.
Killing himself.
What?
Killed
What?
himself.
What?
Died,
What?
sorry,
What?
so
What?
she died
So
in the car
he
crash.
killed him. He tried to drown himself because Princess Diana
That's
died.
what we thought. It was like a weird timing. He was.
Am I
like,
allowed to find that really funny?
So he walked out to sea, and like I was just like, I think I'm just gonna wait and see what happens. Watch. And then he just like threw himself under the water and didn't come up for like 30 seconds, and then he came
Holy
up
shit.
again, and then he went under again. And then my dad turned around and went, oh my God, we need to call the Coast Guard. And so, like, our friend Andrew kind of ran down to the water and started calling to him. My dad went to use the payphone to call the Coast Guard, and they had to scramble the lifeguard to save him. So, like, they did the whole Coast Guard thing launch. And I was just like, well, this didn't go how I thought it was going to go.
That's mad.
I was a little sociopath.
Wait, how was that? How does that mean that you're sociopathic?
Because I wasn't going to tell my dad the man was trying to kill himself.
Oh. Well, you were probably a bit confused.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Let's go with that. I'm going to go with that. I think that's nicer. Speaking of Andrew's childhood, welcome back to Ectoplasmic
we
Fantastic.
record that.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, so my first one is actually from my village.
Amazing.
It's a bit of an urban myth, but it's very brief.
I
but
love an urban
before
myth.
I go into it, East Anglia has some of the weirdest. We've got the ghost of Anne Boleyn stalking her ancestral home, because that's where her body was laid to rest.
Mm-hmm.
We had a village which the rumour was for hundreds of years that there were tunnels under the village, and that there were giant spider cryptids called the Hysterites that lived in the marsh but used the tunnels under the village, and the tunnels were a myth until excavation works in 3 different places found the tunnels.
Wait, why giant spider cryptids?
They don't know, but apparently there were these spider
That's really
creatures.
scary.
Don't know why. We had will-o'-the-wisps that would lure people
Love
into
them.
the marshes. We had everything, and my village was totally normal. We only had one ghost story that the kids would tell, and they were told it by their parents and by their parents. And
Oral tradition.
it was very much oral tradition, because this was the kind of village where you grow up, you get a job in the pub washing dishes at 14, you get married or pregnant at about 18 or 19, and then you settle down in the village or one nearby. It was very much that.
That's like where I grew up.
And so basically, the village was kind of split in two, connected by a little string of houses. And we lived at the lower end of the village, away from the sea, but there's a path that connects both halves of the village. Mm-hmm. So basically, during the war, it was very agricultural, but the First World War, there were a lot of the men were away, and basically this man came to stay at the local pub, and nobody knew his name, and nobody could quite remember what he looked like. They just knew the stranger came in, and then he didn't check out of his room in the morning, and they went upstairs to his room, and his stuff was still in there and it was empty, but there was nothing to identify him. So nobody thought anything of it until this path that connects both ends of the village is wooded over. So you walk through, it's very high hedges, it's very overgrown, little narrow muddy path. When you're walking down it, people have reported a man walking towards them down the path, and you can never, like, his head's always down as though he's in deep thought, and he'll nod hello to you but won't say anything. You carry on walking, but if you turn around literally even a second later, he's not there.
That's very classic. I love that.
And so it's a classic ghost story, but when it was first being reported, it was reported by people who had been in the pub when this stranger who nobody knows came to spend the night and then disappeared.
Yeah.
And there has been so much speculation, and some people thought he was a spy, why you would come and stay in a little fucking bumfuck village in the middle of nowhere. Nobody knows, but the ghost is now in our village haunting the path.
That's really cool, but who is he?
We will never fucking know unless we go and do a seance. But I walked down the path once and I never saw him, but it is the most unnerving thing. I mean, East Anglia is fucking haunted to shit. There's a famous ghost story written, I think, by M.R. James, which was based on a story he heard, because there's a haunted stranded boat in the marshes in Holme, which is 4 miles down the coast from where I was brought up. And basically, like, half a mile out in the marshes, because these are fucking, like, it's like a maze getting out to sea. There's a boat that got stranded at high tide, and so the guys abandoned it, but they didn't have enough lifeboats. Some of them swam and drowned in the marshes, and this was back in the 30s. So they basically, the scavenging team came out to like get all the stuff off the boat, and they got the stuff off the boat that they reported hearing footsteps elsewhere in the boat, and they reported hearing talking voices in the boat, and the voices were angry about something. They'd be in a room and they would hear someone run past the room. They would hear banging, then they would get off the boat. And everything would be fine, but then when they would be about 100, 200 feet out, they would hear splashing.
Was there any reports of shipwrecks?
It was just the boat that they had gone to scavenge that had been caught in the marshes, and that had got caught.
Marshes?
Yeah.
Marshes are always going to be a bit haunted, aren't they?
They are so
They're so
fucking
creepy.
haunted.
It's very easy to drown in them.
Yeah.
Well, this is it, because the guys, like, they only had one lifeboat. They were far enough away that no one would get out to them. And, you know, we still don't know why they didn't decide to wait on the boat, because it wasn't going to sink, it was just stranded.
Demons.
But they obviously panicked and thought, well, we can swim alongside the boat. And, you know, they weren't, you know, it was just fucking grim. But, like, so we got a haunted boat. And so, like,
story.
people out there, like, because I've got friends who were, well, people I went to school with, and they would, like, go out with their family for, like, fun on the boat, and they would go onto the boat, and they would just,
that must
like,
be incredibly fucking dangerous.
Oh, it's hugely dangerous, but people from Norfolk
that's
are
something
so
I would have
inbred
done,
to
to be
fuck
fair.
that they just don't care. But yeah, it was really fucking ominous. Like, we had some pretty dark ghosts. I mean, you got fucking headless Anne Boleyn.
Is that the famous
giant
one?
spiders. No.
Oh.
So much better than Anne Boleyn.
Better than Anne Boleyn, because
Yeah.
she's pretty good.
She's pretty good, but no.
The giant spiders I'm most intrigued by. Like, what the fuck?
I think...
Oh, there's just a load of scare stories from, like, the Express and the Star about killer spiders living in your back garden. Norfolk is a strange place at the best of times. Flat country dotted with windmills, cottages and churches. A land of salt marsh, sea and sky. Wow, Norfolk looks quite interesting in a kind of, like, depressing way.
Do you know, I can't argue with you.
I like all the...
We had a
sort of
ghost fiddler.
As in, like...
As in, it's not someone who sexually molests
No,
ghosts.
okay.
Ghosts.
a man who plays the fiddle who is of the phantom
Yeah.
realm. Oh.
Oh, that's actually a fairly fun one. Let me do him. So basically, there's Binham Priory, which has its own black monk. A monk dressed in black.
Great.
Not an African...
Norfolkian monk.
A Norfolk African. But basically, there's a tunnel linking Binham Priory to a shrine at Walsingham, 3 miles away.
Secret tunnels are
I know,
just
Norfolk-
always gonna...
Norfolk has a load of secret tunnels.
That's really weird.
I mean, look, there's 4 of these articles that had tunnels. So a bit caved in near Binham Priory. So a gentleman called Jimmy Briggs, who was a local fiddler, was the only one who's willing to go in and explore with his dog. So he played his fiddle as he walked, and so they listened to the music echoing down the corridor
quieter and
until
quieter.
the music stopped. Later that night, a great storm caused the tunnel entrance to collapse, and Jimmy was never seen again. When they excavated the tunnel, they never found his body, and his music is sometimes heard echoing out from the tunnel in the dark of night.
Love that.
Spoopy! Okay, so I'm going to start with a quote that I don't know where it's from.
Okay, that's fine.
He takes the form of a huge black dog and prowls along dark lanes and
this
loathsome
fucking
field
Dartmoor?
footpaths. What?
Is this the fucking black dog on the moor?
Do you know where Dartmoor is?
Where?
Not Norfolk.
Oh, sorry.
But you're along the right lines. although his howling makes the hearer's blood run cold, his footfalls make no sound. It is genuinely one of my favourite ghosts of all time.
Who is
Black
it?
Shuck.
I don't know him. Did you know that before you started researching Norfolk?
No, I'd known of him, but I didn't know.
That's fucking cool.
So basically, black dog ghosts are famous throughout the British Isles
Yes.
and parts of Europe. They are famous for being omens of tragedy, bad luck and death. And if you see one, you're basically fucked. And Black Shuck is particularly famous because there's reports from a village called Bungay in 1577 of two people praying in the village church. And Bungay.
It's like a business, right? Yeah.
Black
So
Shuck
fucked.
broke into the church and killed them. And
Wait,
then
the ghost is called Black Shug or Black Shuck?
Shuck.
Shuck.
So he's between a
Oh,
ghost
Shuck.
and a spirit.
Okay.
And then he basically... so these people were praying. He knocked down the church doors amid a flash of lightning and then killed these two people praying. So Black Shuck knows how to make an entrance. He then ran 12 miles away to Blythburgh Church and killed another two people.
Fuck.
So,
He's in berserker mode.
yeah. So basically, forget your Cujos, forget insert other killer dog
Black
creatures
Shuck.
here.
Lassie.
Black Shuck, forget Lassie.
Forget
So
Benny who ate the turtle.
Yeah, forget Benny. We're worried about Black Shuck. So the earliest record of Black Shuck goes back to 1127. He was described using the word skooka, S-U-C-C-A, or devil.
Fucking love old English.
And basically there was another quote, and I will read it, I'll paraphrase bits. It was the Sunday when they sang a song in Latin, which looks like it's pronounced exerge quare. Don't correct me. Many men both saw and heard a great number of huntsmen hunting. The huntsmen were black, huge and hideous, and rode on black horses and on black he-goats, and their hounds were jet black with eyes like saucers and
Hellhounds.
terrible. Yeah. So this is where they think it was the wild hunt, or they think it could have been a hunt from hell, but the dogs that were with them were massive. These hounds and their hunt were travelling through the East Anglian countryside for 50 days, and there were reports all over the place, murals drawn
really creepy.
all over the place. And then when it came to Easter, they disappeared. So the wild hunt is something that is rich in myth throughout Europe again, but we in England had the most demonic and hellish version. Scientists want to say that because of the flat East Anglian landscape, wind travels at higher speeds, and so what people were hearing was just the howling of wind, and invented stories and myth to deal with it. But I've lived in East Anglia, and yeah, we have a lot of storms, blah blah blah. Nothing that sounds like that. And
Like a hell hunt.
like a hell hunt, and these people saw the hunt, so science can go fuck themselves. So basically, Black Shuck is a fucking killer. So Black Shuck has been described as a large dog with black mangy fur. They would normally be larger than normal, sometimes even as big as a horse. They foam at the mouth as though deranged or rabid, and were ravenously focused on hunting for their next meal. A description written in 1901 from a recent sighting said he takes the form of a huge black dog and prowls along lanes and footpaths. So this is paraphrasing from the beginning. Such an encounter might bring you the worst of luck. It's even said that to meet him is to be warned that your death will occur before the end of the year. So you'll do well to shut your eyes if you hear him howling. Shut them even if you're uncertain whether it is the dog fiend or the voice of the wind you hear. You may perhaps doubt his existence, and like other learned folks, tell us that his story is nothing but the old Scandinavian myth of the Black Hound of Odin, brought to us by the Vikings.
Oh shit.
I say, if you're walking along through rural Norfolk and you hear howling,
Right.
Just shut your eyes until someone comes along and says, "Come on, Jimmy, I'll help you home."
Yeah.
Like, no, turn around and fucking peg it in the other direction. But so that's
the idea of the hell hunt and like hellhounds came from
they're
Norse.
saying I think they're saying treat it like, treat it with utmost seriousness. Like,
it certainly will.
So Black Shark's eyes, his most distinctive features, and are meant to be red and as large as saucers. Most worryingly, they can appear and disappear without warning.
That is worrying.
If you catch a glimpse of one, it was believed to be either a protective spirit or a portent of death. So some of the black dogs, not Black Shark is always a bad omen, some were meant to be actually protective spirits. I will treat all of them like omens of death. I don't want to find out. It's like, is it a dolphin or a shark? I don't care. I'm getting out the sea.
If I see a fucking hellhound, I don't give a fuck. Hellhounds are really frightening. Like acid paranormal.
Even if it's a dolphin, it might rape me. So I don't want to run any chances.
If it's a hellhound, it still might bite me. You know?
Yeah. Exactly. So, yeah.
Also, how much help can they really offer?
I know, what's a big black dog going to do? So basically, the most famous story was the one in Bungay, who a record was made of the 1577 attack, and the quote goes, "This black dog, or the devil in such a liness, God he the knoweth who worketh all, running all along down the body of the church with great swiftness and incredible haste among the people, in a visible form and shape, passed between two persons as they were kneeling upon their knees, and occupied in prayer, as it seemed wrung the necks of them both at one instant, clean backward, insomuch that even at a moment when they kneeled, they strangely died." So basically, Black Shark snapped people's necks.
Black Shark's really frightening.
Black Shark, if he's going to get into a church, he means business. Yeah. God has no power over him.
So are there any historical kind of like context as to why he is here to begin with? Was there a...
Nobody knows. I mean, the general consensus is he came with the Wild Hunt and then he stayed because he liked Norfolk. And East Anglia.
But why was the Wild Hunt? Like, what's the fucking Wild Hunt?
So, some think it's from hell. Some people attribute it to
what
the
are they
fairies.
hunting?
Souls.
Oh.
It's all pretty dark stuff. There was a sighting of Black Shark in 1905. This gentleman claimed the black dog turned into a donkey and then vanished a few heartbeats later. A 4-year-old girl during World War II encountered a large black dog that walked from her window around her bed, made eye contact at her with large red eyes, and then vanished before reaching the door.
Traumatic.
It ends with saying she didn't sleep well that night. A 10-year-old boy reported in 1974 that he had an encounter when he was 6. He finally told his mum he saw a black animal with yellow eyes galloping toward him one night. He screamed for his mother and she said it was merely the reflection of a car. He read a story about a haunted council house and a black dog spirit, and he then became concerned his original account was of a giant black dog. Boop, boop, boop.
Oh. So Black Shark has been kicking around as recently as the 1970s?
Yeah. So basically, people want to say that because the sightings of hellhounds occur around times of troubling weather or cloudiness, that basically people are getting spooked out by lightning and thunder and atmospheric issues. The thing is, there were... so basically, while Black Shark was commonly seen in 1577, lightning did strike the turret of Bungay Church and it collapsed. Now, there are scorch marks on the door at Bungay Church, which are still there, but lightning never struck the door. Falling rubble wouldn't cause a burn mark, and the burn marks are in a straight line, as though something has scraped at the door.
So we're thinking that it's actually Black Shark trying to get in.
scratched the door, pushing it open.
And obviously, because he's a hellhound, his scratches are going to leave burn marks.
Yeah.
Because he's got the fire of hellfire pulsating through his
Exactly.
very
He's a little
being.
hellfire pup. So basically, interestingly, a giant dog skeleton was unearthed near an abbey in Leiston, which is south of Bungay. Leiston is a fucking shithole. I've been there. It's a fucking piece of shit. It has an old nuclear reactor or something.
Amazing.
There. It's fucking horrible. I used to go and stay with my friend Chris Smith.
Has he got like a pound saver and a...
Yeah.
And a
it's got a kebab shop, and that's
yeah.
Cordon Bleu Dining.
Yeah.
Basically, in 2013, and so the Black Shuck legend came right back into prominence because they were like...
2013?
Yeah, this is when they found this huge black dog skeleton, and they think, but cannot confirm, that it's a Great Dane because it's far bigger than a Great Dane, so they said maybe it's an abnormally large Great Dane.
Or maybe it's fucking Black Shark.
Or maybe it's Black Shuck.
Who killed Black Shark?
Exactly. So... Basically, I won't even say what that's a spoiler for. So Black Shuck terrorised Norfolk, passed into myth, came out of myth when Sir Arthur Conan Doyle used it as inspiration for the Hound of the Baskervilles.
The Hound of the Baskervilles, that's what I was thinking, Dartmoor, but it's not Dartmoor, it's fucking Norfolk.
Yeah. So that's it. So that's Black Shuck, that's my home county.
That's a great story.
Yeah, I thought it was... it's really interesting. I like a good ghost dog.
Hound of the Baskervilles.
See.
Which I've not actually read, but I know of it.
It's okay.
Is it?
Yeah.
Because it's proved at the end to not actually... In the Hound of the Baskervilles, it's not actually supernatural, is it?
No.
Because Sir Arthur Conan Doyle at the time was not a believer, but then he got banged into spiritualism after his wife died. I do know that.
No, it's a very good short story. That and The Speckled Band terrified me as kids.
Really?
Yeah, using a snake as a murder weapon.
Oh yeah, that's frightening. The Speckled Band.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Or spoilers, that's what The Speckled Band is.
Okay.
But yeah, so that's Norfolk.
That was great.
Thanks. Anything you want to say about Belgium?
Well, I have a little thing about Brussels.
Okay.
I can step on. So I was doing some research.
Do you want to jump over here? We can swap.
Yeah. Fine. I'm gonna sit down on the floor. Not knock anything over. So basically, as you might have noticed, like the Belgians are not too hot on ghosts and witches and stuff. Well, at least not in Brussels. So there's a castle. It's just outside Brussels called the Castle of Beersel.
What?
Beersel.
Beersel.
It's
Beersel.
well, now it's in a Dutch-speaking.
What's it called now? Is it still called Beersel?
Beersel.
Beersel. Beersel.
It's
like
got
basil
something
in
to do
Jamaican.
with bear,
Bear.
because een beer in Dutch is a bear. So basically, that castle was built
Like a bear.
in the 14th century by Godfrey de Lebec, who was a friend of the Duke of Brabant. So the Duke of Brabant was one of the richest people on earth in the 14th century because they had like very interesting positions and
Well, like reverse cowgirl.
realms.
What?
Anyway, so it was finished in 1312. And basically it's like a very traditional medieval castle with like lots of rooms, big towers, and also presumably what looks like torch chambers.
I was going to say, if it's traditional medieval castle, you know it's got some nasty...
It's not a castle unless there's a torch chamber.
Yeah.
Or three.
Especially in medieval castles.
Yeah.
So the Whittons inherited the castle at the end of the 15th century.
What's a Witten?
It's a family.
Oh.
And everything was going well until, at the end of the 15th century, the Netherlands decided to be arseholes and to basically wage war against Belgium.
And where are the Netherlands?
Holland.
North of...
So the Netherlands are Holland.
It's sort of, mostly.
And they speak Dutch.
They speak Dutch indeed.
Booyakasha.
Okay. Whatever that was.
Death to the white man.
So the Dutch decide to be twats and they ravage Belgium. So during a period of 10 years, basically, some villages and castles didn't stop like changing alliances and going from like one camp to the other, etc. Bad timing, because beside the war there was also famine, so people were like dropping like flies, and it was very unstable times. So it is thought that that castle was heavily used as, because it's a very strong defense castle, so you can basically be besieged for days and still be safe for as long as the food is still there. So they used that presumably to torture quite a lot of people. Also that it got like massively sort of demolishing power because of the war, but in 1491 it was refurbished. So that leads to later, it doesn't say when, but rumour has it that basically the castle is haunted with the ghosts of the people who were tortured in there.
And that's going to be some unhappy spirits.
Ooh.
Unhappy spirits, but they are not violent.
Okay.
Oh, that's disappointing.
That's because that's very Belgian.
They're just very
However,
apathetic. Are they busy getting master degrees in the underworld?
Exactly. Go like, oh my god, I got a doctorate in apparitions. And basically what happens is, apparently those ghosts show up before deep political trouble in the country. So obviously the last time they showed up was just before World War II, but at the same time that one was kind of easy to predict, I guess. You know, every time the country has been in political danger, they have appeared. Like, they mostly stay in the castle, so they don't attack people.
Does it say what they look like?
No. They just say they show up. I can try and find a different article about it.
They're probably just poltergeists.
Okay, there's one.
Because when it said they show up, I was imagining like an army of like mutilated people being like,
I would fucking love that.
appearing over the horizon. Then you go and investigate, and there's nobody there.
Unusual phenomena have manifested around the castle whenever a threat to the country has materialised.
Okay, so they're quite patriotic.
So,
despite the fact that it was their country that killed them.
No, because they were presumably Belgian.
Oh, the Dutchies killed them, the fucking Netherlandese.
So apparently, it's very precise because we even have a day. So Tuesday, the 15th of August, 1939, a photo was taken by a member of the Ghost Hunting Society near the west wing of the castle, and in that photo you have people appearing in as a group. So it kind of looks.
That's really freaky.
It looks like reflections, but it kind of looks like people looking at them.
Really spooky.
Oh.
So yeah. So basically, because it was in 1939, it was like a month before the beginning of World War II. So. So that's the one ghost story that we have.
Spooky Belgians.
I mean, it's useful ghosts because whenever you see them, it's like, brace yourselves.
I like the fact that Belgians have practical ghosts.
Yes. They don't have illogical ghosts.
What a surprise!
You know? Not like the UK where
we have giant dogs and spiders.
Yeah, giant dogs and spiders for no reason.
And self-mutilating nun girls.
Yeah, nuns with cutler and
a polite
eyelids
monk.
off.
Well, your dog is kind of like a weather forecast, though.
What, it appears when it's stormy? What is the fucking Karen from
Oh,
Mean
I thought
Girls?
it appeared before and then something.
There's a 50% chance it's already raining.
That is a bit like Black Shark.
Yeah, Black Shark's a dick like that who just turns up and goes, "There's a storm!"
I like Black Shark though.
I like Black Shark. He's a lovable dickhead.
Before we wrap up,
Yes.
can we just do a quick rest in peace shout out To Derek Acorah.
Yes.
Our favourite sleazy Paco
Oh my
Rabanne
God.
smelling.
Who's going to be the first person to summon Derek Acorah?
I don't want to because I don't want the smell of Paco Rabanne 1 million.
I'm fucking with you. I don't want a ghostly scent of Paco Rabanne 1 million in my house.
I'm glad he's gone.
Do you think
No.
it's going to leave a trail of ectoplasm behind him?
I hope he goes so far into the netherworld that he never comes back.
But he's with Sam, his spirit guide.
Good. Him and Sam can go off and bum each other.
And you know they will.
You know that they will in their ghost bum holes.
Do you think Derek was gay?
Derek was clearly straight because he looked like a fucking
And he used
slick-
Paco Rabanne 1 million.
And he
Do you
looked
think it's going to swindle people in the underworld?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. He's a schemer. He's a schemer till the end, that man.
Oh, he truly is. Oh, this is like the old days, Molly.
Oh, what? Rolling a fag?
Yeah.
I started the new year by starting smoking again. just a big fuck you to the wellness industry, really?
Oh,
No, I'm joking. It's because I've been in emotional turmoil, and it helps.
Have you seen ghosts appear in the tower of the castle?
Yes, those ghosts appeared in Belgium and went, we know we're here for a reason. Où est le Molly Kitson? J'habite dans l'Angleterre.
Shall we do a fuck, marry, kill?
Yep.
So who've we got? We've got quite a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to drag Black Shark into this because he's a dog.
And no to bestiality.
Okay.
For once.
So hang on a second, you're saying that but you'd rather have fucking eyeless Mary?
No, but at least she's still a human being.
Well, I have
Black Shark is
Hamilton
technically
thingy.
What, Bernie McBernstein?
Bernie McBernstein, who's that?
Oh, but I got burned, now you have to be naked.
Oh, Patrick! Okay, yeah, we
Okay,
got
fine,
Patrick.
Patrick Hamilton.
But then we need a Norfolk one.
Well, I only had the guy who we don't know who he was.
The mysterious stranger, let's go
The
with
mysterious-
him.
Beautiful stranger.
And who else?
A Heister Sprite.
A heistess, right? Do it.
So, the giant spider, mysterious stranger, or Patrick Hamilton. I would fuck the mysterious stranger.
Mm-hmm.
Because
it's sort of anonymous
sounds
and hot. Yeah.
There's a fuck on the fucking secret pathway.
Also, it's either going to be in a secret pathway or it's going to be in like
A nice pub.
weird hotel room pub.
So fuck mysterious stranger. I would just burn Patrick Hamilton again. I'd put a little bit of kindling on the spot where his initials are and just burn it again.
Okay.
And salt it. And I would marry the Heister Sprite because it has its own little house in the tunnels.
Fair.
No one's going to mess with you.
No, because
Yeah.
I'm basically dating Shelob.
I'm going to fuck them stranger because he might be a spy and I
Yeah.
really like that as
That
an
would be
idea. To be like a spy in a hotel room, you wake up and he's gone and you're like, oh, I'll never see him again, but it's because he's off to fight the Russians. I quite like that.
Mm-hmm.
Actually it'd be cooler if he was Russian. I'm gonna do the same. I don't want to kill Patrick Hamilton because it's unpatriotic, and also I don't know. But he's a bit annoying at the end of the day. I like the fact that he died. Brought the drama right till the end by etching his own face onto a bit of stone. I respect that.
Yeah.
But he's very religious to the point he's willing to die for it, and I'm not.
You know he'd only ever want to have sex on a Sunday.
Exactly. I'm not here for that. And I'm going to marry a Heister Sprite as well because then I just get to live in a tunnel, which, as we know, massively appeals to me. I've talked about it quite a lot on this podcast. Plus, when World War III breaks out, we can hide in there to avoid the draft.
We can be sister wives.
Yeah, we can be... we can be sister wives with the Heister Sprite and avoid the draft.
And the good thing is, we get 4 arms each.
Nicolas?
I'm going to be kind and save Hamilton.
Thank you.
Because I think, you know what?
But you fucking or marrying?
I'm marrying him.
Lame.
Do you know...
You're going to marry a
being
religious boy?
pissed off about people walking on your initials is a very Andrew move. Can I just point that out
Yeah.
very quickly?
Sorry, what's the point? In what way?
And the way that you get sometimes a bit precious about the way people behave in public spaces.
Like, give me an example.
Like, if anyone's ever walked around central London with Andrew, there will be at least 10 times over like 15-minute walking, which is like people with suitcases. I mean, it annoys everyone, but
Asian mothers with children.
I was gonna say.
Yeah.
He said it. So there you go. So I think, that's something that I'm used to.
Mm-hmm.
So
But he might not want. Okay.
fuck the stranger. That it's
Got to.
it's a
You've got
perfect
to.
it's a perfect hookup.
Yeah.
Like go your separate ways. You don't have to meet ever again. And
Yep.
if you do, maybe they have like a different hair
Leave
color.
while you've still got lube on your hands.
Exactly.
Disappear off into the Norfolk night.
And I'm going to have to kill your
Fuck you.
betrothed.
Oh no. The height of Sprite.
It's fine. He won't manage it.
Fine, I've killed spiders in Skyrim.
Yeah, no, but you're not ready for our.
And the thing
one.
is, like, I didn't even kill spiders in real life.
Okay.
Like, I put them in a glass.
Mm-hmm.
You're an arachnophobe.
Yeah.
Same.
So how are you gonna marry a huge spider?
Because I want to think it's like a sexy spider.
See, in my
wanna
mind,
go-
it's a sexless marriage. It's a marriage of convenience.
Oh, no,
it's
mine's
just like,
full
I
on
want to
Neck
escape.
protection.
I want to live in a
full-on
tunnel.
sex involved.
Okay.
Like mine, I want to feel like because in fantasy,
Like that tentacle porn thing, but
well,
with spider legs.
sort of.
What?
But let me speak my piece. In fantasy, like especially in D&D, there's a race of creatures called the Arachne, which are like half spider. They're like a spider centaur,
Sexy spider.
and I want to believe like from the waist up, it's just like fucking Jason Momoa or Henry Cavill, but like probably like I don't know, because I can't really fuck a spider and I don't want it to fuck me. I'd like make out with the spider and wank and stuff.
I wouldn't wank off the spider.
I would.
I'm gonna, in my head,
It'd
it's
shoot
like,
like silk.
well, I just want to
Silk
sleep.
cum.
I want to sleep on silky sheets, and I
That
want
it could make with its cum.
exactly, and I want to live in a tunnel and escape the draft. So that's why I'm marrying the spider, and the spider knows that. It's fine. The spider can go off and fuck other spiders. I can go and fuck the stranger and other
What if it's like
random
really gentle
Norfolk.
with its leg and it's just like,
No, I can't. It's bestiality. I can't do it
why am I fine with this?
because you're into like fantasy shit and I'm not. So I'm weirded out by like.
The thing is that we also need to redefine fuck, marry, kill. It seems like, because to me, marrying is like someone you can spend a long relationship over time based on understanding.
The spider and I can have great chat.
Oh yeah, me and the spider.
Yeah,
are,
and,
like,
it's
meeting
like,
of minds.
You're not going to. It's not for the sex that you're there. It's
Yeah,
more like
it's the companionship. I'll be like,
Yeah,
hey
yeah.
spider, should we talk about Nietzsche? And the spider's going to be like,
yeah.
and I'll be like, that's a good point,
But
spider.
obviously when you marry someone, there is an implication that like you consummate the marriage.
The thing is, the sex won't be as good, but it's more about the
Compared to-
companionship. Whereas
Yeah.
sex with the fuck is gonna be like, it's just gonna be like that sex that you curl your toes so hard your bones are gonna snap.
And if it gets into a whole like bunker situation, which is kind of where I'm going with it, where we all live in a
to
kind
escape
of
World War III.
in a kind of bunker cult, there's going to be some hot menses.
Yeah.
And if the spider wants to fuck some other, because there's more than one Hinter Sprite, if they want to go and have some Hinter Sprite sex, I'm not going to be mad. I'm going to be like, what's her name in BBC Dracula? You resist temptation. If you can't resist Mina, if you can't resist temptation, my love, that's fine.
Don't get-
Because
because I'm riding a dick right now.
because I'm riding a dick as I'm riding a bunker dick as we speak.
Oh my. Yeah, I like it.
That's where I'm going with. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we've still established we understand fuck, marry, kill. So
Okay.
that's fuck.
I think
marry-
the definition of a marriage, we can have our own spin on it. It can be a marriage of convenience. It can be
Yes.
a marriage, like I'm open to like a sugar daddy thing in the context of this game if we have a rich ghost ever.
So now we do fuck, marry, kill, sugar daddy.
No, sugar daddy included in the marriage.
Okay, yeah. That's fine, I understand that.
Someone who can provide.
Well, I would suck
Yes.
my spider centaur height Sprite. Well, that's been ectoplasmic. That's been ectoplasmic fantastic.
What about?
Okay, I'm Andrew.
I'm Molly. This has been. I'm so
And
sorry.
I've been interrupted, but it's fine because you're.
You get 3 more seconds to
it's
say
yours as
goodbye.
well now.
Bye.
No, say it and Nicolas.
And Nicolas.
Bye.
This has been Ectoplasmic Podcast.